File this next segment under the weird, wacky, and wonderful news from around the world. Great segment here on the show. We just love the weird, wacky, and wonderful news as we head over the Dutch for this first story. A popular bar in central Auckland has been attracting attention for all the wrong reasons after bar goers noticed people outside the venue could see into the female toilets. In a video shared to the social media platform TikTok, multiple women could be seen using the toilets at the newly opened and rebranded Headquarters Club. Now, I've seen the video, and let me try and explain it so you can visualize it, because you can't see it. This is radio. So the video is taken from outside of the club. It's like a 2-story club. On the second floor, there's all these glass panels, which is the female toilets, and you can see straight into them. I don't know what design thing they were going there. Maybe they wanted like just a one-way glass, so the females can look outside whilst they're using the old toilet. But someone forgot to put the one-way reflecting thing on there. I don't know what was going on, but it was bizarre. Now, when contacted for comments, the club owner said that it was, and I quote, a minor design fault, and film would be placed across the windows immediately. A minor design fault? The privacy for someone as they go to the toilet, especially women, that's a pretty major design fault. How was that not picked up? Surely before reopening, there was at least at night when you're standing outside and going, hold on, we can see straight in those windows, eh? That could be a problem. Lucky they're fixing it though, because that's a clubbing experience that's just too strange for my liking. But we like to look at things. We like to look at things, the bright side to all things. And there is potentially a bright side to this story, even though the toilets were see-through. Lucky they were soundproof. Staying in New Zealand for the weird, wacky, and wonderful news this week, New Zealand authorities have found 3.2 tons of cocaine floating in the Pacific Ocean, with the drugs believed to be destined for the Australian market. Ooh. Sad day for illegal drug users in Australia. 3.2 tonnes off the market. Oh, you know what that does with economics? Jacks the price up. Police, customs officers, and the Defence Force personnel all work together on this drug bust, which is expected to deal a significant blow to the international crime syndicate. Whoever wrote this article, I don't know if they deliberately put the pun blow in there when relating to coke. Never mind. The shipment had 81 bales in it, and it was making a 6-day journey back to New Zealand aboard the Royal New Zealand Navy vessel, the HMNZS Manawani, and will be destroyed by New Zealand authorities. It is believed that the strategy of the drug traffickers was to leave the packed drugs on board this big boat in international waters for it to be picked up by other vessels. Seems like a bit of a flawed system there. No one on board the boat to defend it or make sure it gets to its final destination. Although, with no one on board, it's hard to point the finger at whomever was trafficking it. I have looked into this further, and no arrests have been made thus far. But, I'm not the police, I'm not customs, I'm not the Defence Force, but it seems a bit obvious. Contact the person who owns the boat. Ask some questions and maybe arrest them. Also in the weird, wacky, and wonderful news from around the world this week, a New York man heading off to his dream holiday in Sydney, Australia to take a cruise got the shock of his life when he looked out the plane window when he landed to see snow-capped mountains rather than the golden sands of Bondi Beach. Although, we have had snow this week in Australia, even though it is summer. So, but no, he didn't land in Sydney. No, when speaking to his local news station, the man from New York, his name is Kingsley Burnett. He's 62 years old. 62, he should know better. He said that he realised he had booked and caught a flight to the tiny Montana city of Sydney, spelled Sidney, rather than the Australian city Sydney, Sydney. Burnett admitted to the TV station that he'd been trying to be frugal for his trip and was pleasantly surprised by the cheapness of the flight he had found. Do you think, New York to Montana, the flight time could have been a bit of a dead giveaway? Only took a few hours to get to Sydney, Australia, which is on the other side of the planet. I guess you only make that mistake once. And finally, in the weird, wacky, and wonderful news from around the world this week, this is the stuff that nightmares are made of. Well, at least mine. An 82-year-old woman who had been pronounced dead at her nursing home in Long Island, New York, was found to be alive nearly 3 hours later at a funeral home. Oh, nightmare stuff there. So let's paint this out. Nursing home staff found an 82-year-old woman, probably asleep, but non-responsive. Gone, she's dead. Had her picked up, taken to the funeral home for, that process afterwards. And she woke up. Imagine the shock of your life, thinking you're waking up in your nursing home room, but hold on. I'm on a very cold metal bed here, and it's very sterile. What's that incinerator smell in the background? They must be burning lunch again. The nursing home centre and the funeral home have both refused to comment on the incident, citing that they wouldn't comment out of respect for the privacy and confidentiality of the families they are honoured to serve. That's code. Read between the lines. They don't want to admit that they stuffed up royally. Pro tip, nursing home and funeral home. This should be your job. You should know this already and not need advice from a radio jock. Pro tip, if they're breathing or if they have a pulse, they're still alive. Maybe just a little jump scare to check, could be part of company policy, a little bit of a boo, just to see if they jolt awake. Lucky she woke up when she did. Otherwise, this would be a completely different story and the stuff that my nightmares are made of. Good grief.
The Troy Murphy Show.